You're not going to be able to do evangelism without being called political, because you're going to have to address moral, ethical, gender, sexual issues that are going to be labeled as political, even though we're just trying to be biblical. This is where Charlie Kirk comes in. He was not merely political. He was trying to present a biblical worldview amongst people who really despise it, and he was trying to show the rationality of these basic issues to young people, and he was highly successful in doing so.
Why was there not a trans suicide issue in the 90s? I think the best way to help somebody that's suffering under a delusion is cognitive-based therapy and non-chemical, non-pharmacological interventions. You'd probably agree. So after 6 years, there's a big thing called transition regret. We know 35,000 young people that are now vocally saying they regret medically mutilating themselves.
So it's been nearly 5 years since the publication of my research article in which I surveyed parents. It's a parent report. I'd like to share what my values are. One, I'm pro-LGBT. Two, I am promoting the health and well-being of all people who experience gender dysphoria. And this means people who desist, people who persist, people who transition, and people who detransition. And I am in order to help people, we need to ask research questions so that we can better understand conditions, especially if they appear different from conditions as we have seen them in the past. So what is ROGD? Rapid onset gender dysphoria, or ROGD, is a term that I created when I first started to study this. I needed a shorter term to describe a phenomenon where adolescents or young adults who did not have sufficient signs of gender dysphoria during their childhoods began to first exhibit these signs during or after puberty. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this is controversial. As you've heard, as you've experienced, there are people who are very strongly opposed to the very concept. And whether it should be controversial and whether the opposition might stem from perhaps wanting to tightly control a narrative that is used to justify fast-tracking transition is another discussion that we may have at another time.
Now, conservative politics is not equal to the kingdom of God. You can be conservative in your politics and be headed towards a Christless eternity in hell. But
with a Patreon subscription, you support me in continuing the work of advocating for the rights and lives of transgender and non-binary children, youth, and their allies. Thank you for watching and hopefully subscribing.
And let me just kind of reemphasize this, which I think is the question. Let me actually ask you this. Is there an age that's too young in your opinion? If a 6-year-old says, I think I'm a boy, do you think it might be too young to do surgery on them?
Lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. We built the world that we inhabit now because we are on the side of goodness, we are on the side of God.
Is there an age that's too young in your opinion? If a 6-year-old says, I think I'm a boy, do you think it might be too young to do surgery on them?
I honestly wouldn't know. I wouldn't say one or the other, but I would say that, I guess, over 18, how do we say? What do you
Okay, so let's close every pediatric gender clinic in America and stop the chemical castration of our youth, which is exactly where we were 10 years ago. I think we found a lot of agreement, my friend. What is a woman?
As we know it now, sex-wise, a woman is someone with the XX, a female is someone with the XX chromosome. A woman is someone who socially presents and is identified as a woman.
So you think an XY chromosome can become a woman, is that right?
Yeah.
Why can you not respect the existence of trans people?
Well, it depends what you mean by that. So if you trick enough people into believing you're something you're not, then it becomes true.
I think trick is a weird word to use.
Well, because you're camouflaging and disguising what you really are. If you mean lying, I won't lie. But every human being is made in the image of God. We must live in reality, not in the delusions of the heads of people that want us to accommodate their fantasy.